So in audio processing, the first step is normalize, and the next step is noise reduction. The third step in audio processing is the EQ. The EQ effect is quite complex. However, I will use a basic EQ that every voice recording should apply. I will show that in a moment, but before that, let me show you how to use an EQ effect. If you go to the Filter and EQ from the Effect menu, you will see several EQ effects. We will be using the Parametric Equalizer. If you can use the Parametric Equalizer, you can do any type of EQ you want. You can see a flat blue line with some numbers or letters on it. Those numbers and letters are called bands, and they are tied to particular frequencies. You can then increase or decrease the volume of those frequencies by setting a gain. EQ is the process of manipulating volumes by frequency. That means you can increase the volume of some frequencies and decrease the volume of other frequencies. Okay, instead of knowing the theory, let's see a practical demonstration. We will use a specific EQ that is called a high-pass filter, and that is denoted by HP here. I will click on the HP. You can see that once I activated the high-pass filter, it cuts some frequencies here, and we can actually control at which frequency the cut occurs. I'll play the audio, and I will move this frequency. When I do that, the curve will move, and you will see the audio tone change.
Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Ranchworks Pasture aerators are engineered with forged ranch tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market, with a lifetime guarantee against breakage to back it up. Weight, cutting surface, and speed set us apart. Visit ranch.com to see why ranch aerators are cut above the rest.
You just listened to the audio after I reduced some of the frequencies from the recording. And as I reduced more frequencies, the audio changed more. So that is how EQ shapes the audio or changes the tone. Now, the main use of EQ is not just cutting frequencies the way I just showed you. Instead, we usually need some kind of controlled manipulation. I will go through some of those manipulations. The first manipulation technique is called the high-pass filter, and this is highly recommended for voice recordings. I will go back to the default preset so I can show you how to configure a high-pass filter. If I play the audio, you can see some dancing waves here. These dancing waves are present across all the frequencies. It represents the frequency pattern of a sound. You can see the frequency number here. This frequency pattern is important for any type of EQ, including the high-pass filter. You click on HP to make the high-pass filter active. After activating it, you have to configure the frequency for the high-pass filter. Usually, we set the frequency of the high-pass filter to around 70 or 80 Hz. Why do we do that? To understand this, you first need to understand what frequency actually is. Frequency is the vibration of air particles. When we play a guitar, we strum the strings, and they vibrate. That vibration reaches our eardrum through air molecules, and we hear a sound. The same thing happens when we speak. Our vocal cords vibrate. Frequency is how many times a particular vibration occurs in 1 second. If something vibrates only 1 time per second, its frequency is 1 Hz. If something vibrates 100 times per second, the frequency is 100 Hz. However, the sound we hear is not just a particular frequency. Instead, it is a combination of many more frequencies at the same time. If you haven't understood what I said now, do not worry. You just need to understand how the fundamental frequency works to use a high-pass filter. Fundamental frequency means the lowest number of vibrations in a sound. The fundamental frequency of the human voice is usually around 80 Hz or higher. So, below 80 Hz, the human voice generally does not have useful frequencies. But when I play this recording, you can see that something is still moving below that range. You can see the wave jumping in that area. That is part of the frequency distribution of this recording, so we can often see something below 80 Hz. But if that is not the voice, then what is it? That is usually some kind of noise, low rumble or low frequency noise. And by using a high-pass filter, we can reduce the low rumble and low frequency noise. So you can think of the high-pass filter as another way to clean up your audio. It cleans up the low-frequency noise. And this is a standard practice. At a minimum, you usually want to have a high-pass filter as part of your EQ on voice audio. But before configuring the high-pass filter, you need to make sure you are not removing the natural tone of the voice. So you set the frequency of the high-pass filter, then listen to the audio and confirm that the tone of the voice is not changing.
capacitor aerators are engineered with forged wrench tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market, with a lifetime guarantee against breakage to back it up. Weight, cutting surface, and speed set us apart. Visit ranch.com to see why ranch aerators are cut above the rest.
So that is the high-pass filter. Now I will apply this high-pass filter to this audio. And honestly, I could end the EQ process with just this high-pass filter. But the purpose of EQ is not only to use a high-pass filter for cleanup. EQ can also be used to subtly adjust the tone of the audio, making it sound better, smoother, or crisper. That is actually a longer discussion and would need a separate tutorial. So here, I am going to show you one specific EQ curve that I call the clear voice EQ curve. You can see this special curve here where I have boosted the higher end of the frequencies. This type of EQ curve is usually used for voice clarity. Not every voice will become clearer with this EQ, but many voices do. However, there can also be some side effects. Sometimes this clear voice EQ can introduce sibilance, sharpness, or harshness into the audio. So you need to understand whether it is making the audio better or worse. In most cases, it starts making the voice sound clearer and crisper. I also have a full processing chain that uses this clear vocal EQ. These are Adobe Audition presets available to purchase from my shop. Let me play this audio with the clear voice preset, and then we can compare the difference.
Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Ranchworks capacitor aerators are engineered with forged wrench tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market, with a lifetime guarantee against breakage to back it up. Weight, cutting surface, and speed set us apart. Visit ranch.com to see why ranch aerators are cut above the rest. Some people claim that all aerators are created equal. Well, we beg to differ. Ranchworks capacitor aerators are engineered with forged wrench tech blades designed to penetrate deeper and aerate more effectively than any other aerator on the market, with a lifetime guarantee against breakage to back it up. Weight, cutting surface, and speed set us apart.
If you want to use this kind of clear vocal preset, you can get access to this Adobe Audition preset. I will give the link in the description. With this preset, you will not only get the EQ settings, but also other configurations that can help make your voice sound better with just one click. So for EQ, the fundamental thing is this. You should use a high-pass filter. Then, if you want to go beyond that, you need a little more understanding and knowledge of audio editing. A good starting point can be this EQ cheat sheet from Producer Hive. You will learn some EQ basics from this cheat sheet. To learn more advanced EQ techniques, follow the video on the screen. And if you want to learn these advanced things in more detail, you can check out the Audition course, which is included in the Audition bundle. All the links are in the description and pinned comment.